broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin! You got your things together.
That's right. Hold on to your bows, Arrow fans. It's the Arrow AFTERBUZZ TV After Show. I'm your host, Alikona Bradford. And if you are joining us live via YouTube, do not forget to join us on Twitter by hashtagging ABTV Arrow. And if you have not already, please subscribe to our channel and follow all of these lovely hosts, starting with the lady over to the far left.
I'm Katie Cullen. Hi, all my buddies. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet, Kiaxet, and bonus points if you know what the opening song is.
And I'm Tauri Miller. You can find me at Tauri J. It's TaurijAY.
Lex Michael, Twitter handle at the Lex Michael, and you really shouldn't get points for knowing Creedence Clearwater Revival. That should be expected.
You'd be surprised.
Spoiler!
And she didn't know it.
Exactly. It should be expected.
You called me out on air, guys. Thanks. Okay, anyway.
This is why I choose the opening songs.
Well, either way. So, okay. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter at KissMyPassport and go online and check out my YouTube channel, Boys in Beauty with Alikona, and subscribe, support all the lovely hosts on the panel. It super helps us out when you follow us. So, yes, let's begin the show after I plug us, very obviously. All right, Roy, let's talk about that Roy Harper, shall we?
Sure not dead.
She sure isn't. But you know what? The producers kept alluding to the fact that he was gonna die, and I even predicted it. So I just totally got bamboozled.
That was one of the big reasons I assumed he was going to be fine.
They just said there'd be a death. And I had someone get angry at me on Twitter this morning because I was like, yeah, someone on Arrow's going to die. And they're like, spoilers. No, they've been talking about that for weeks. It's only a spoiler if you know who it is. And I didn't till like 15 minutes ago.
Some people don't keep track of the tabloids. They like to go in fresh.
This is the guy who refused to watch the Age of Ultron trailer that came up during the commercial.
The what, 18-second spot?
Yeah.
So anyway, going into our Arrow show, guys.
People don't like to be spoiled.
So Roy obviously turns himself in. He's carrying the theme of I feel guilty and I deserve to be here and blasey, blasey, blasey. And it doesn't matter what he does, he's always going to have that guilt.
He's being Oliver.
He is being Oliver.
It's a problem.
But you know what really made me upset this episode, and I'm sure all of you will agree with me, is Detective Lance. Officer, captain, whatever he is right now.
Captain.
Officer detective, yeah.
The officer
Captain,
detective, he should be, you know what, he should be demoted. You clean the bathroom, how about that? That's all you're allowed to do.
Minor, junior, private, and negative first class.
Thank you.
That's right.
You know, obviously he totally has it out for Oliver. It doesn't matter what happens on this show, it's going to be Oliver's fault. If he trips and falls, it's Oliver's fault.
Right.
Well, Roz did kind of spill the beans there, and Lance can't say, I got a tip from wherever. That's not enough to go on. It's definitely not enough to go on if, the head of the League of Assassins told me the Arrow's identity. Everyone's going to be like,
okay.
And that's a good piece of evidence.
Here's the thing. Yes, the League of Assassins told you. He's probably credible, but at the same time, even though we know he's right, he's an evil villain. Why would you believe an evil villain? He could be lying to you.
Because he's confirming the suspicion that Lance had all along.
I suppose. Yeah. Okay, fine. Fine.
Confirmation bias, they call it.
You believe what you want to believe.
And he's already upset at the Arrow because of the death of his daughter and him not knowing about it, etc., etc. It is the perfect storm.
I know, but everything, even when he kept on, it's like he was trying to Jedi mind trick Roy when Roy was in his jail cell.
He's a
Look,
detective.
son, I've been trying to help you. It's all Oliver's fault. It's Queen's fault. You know what, dude? Roy is a grown-ass man. He can make his own decisions. He decided he wanted to cover and go to jail. Nobody told him to.
He's a detective. Detectives are very good at head games.
But you can't blame him for not wanting to send this kid to jail for Oliver. Because, I mean, as far as he's concerned, Oliver is gathering his Robins or his team.
I know, right?
Pretty much. He's gathering his team, so it's like he sees Oliver as someone who is luring people into this life of danger. And I think that he's always seen Roy as kind of an innocent-ish kid, like a kid just on the wrong side of the tracks. And so, I mean,
he's the little boy in the red hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even with his daughter made the choice to join the League of Assassins. His daughter made the choice to do all these things, but again, to him, it's still Oliver's fault. She chose to get on the boat to go to the island that's shipwrecked.
Right.
She
Because
chose
she was
to date
dating
her
Oliver.
sister's boyfriend. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, if you blame Oliver for that, you kind of take Sarah's agency.
Yeah.
Problems.
There's that.
But there's still pissed off dad who keeps losing the same daughter over and over and over again. And if you're expecting a measure of rationality from that,
I'd be really angry and confused as well.
yeah.
I would imagine.
I don't know. I'm just, I get it. Look, I get it. But obviously, somebody who's Team Oliver, I get really annoyed to constantly hear Lance. Everything, it's Oliver. Well, you know, Oliver did this, and
Yeah.
Oliver's.
What's killing me is that Lance knew that Roy was running around in the red suit and that the Arrow is someone else. Don't they have a bazillion witnesses that say, oh yeah, there's the Green Arrow and then there's the
Yeah,
guy
there's two of
in
them.
red? There's so many people that have seen them together
And
at the
this
same
dude
time.
is not as tall as this dude.
I know. So many witnesses were like, yeah, there were two of them.
But
oh,
you know
yeah,
what?
no, I've seen two of them.
I say, outside of all that, Lance needs to understand too. Yes, okay, fine. You know what? He's right. Oliver is the Arrow. He is. It's not Roy. But at the same time, him going crazy and him getting the warrant to go in the basement to do this and do that to all his colleagues, he looks a little bit crazy, and he is. His buddy even said, "Man, you're bringing personal into professional, and you've worked so hard to get here.
Yeah.
Stop."
Well, and we had this in the first season when he went on the vendetta against the vigilante, and didn't he lose his badge for a while?
Yeah.
Bad things.
Didn't you learn the first time?
Although then he came back and got promoted, so maybe he's hoping for a repeat.
Another promotion, a demotion, and a promotion.
Commissioner, yeah.
I hear there's an opening for a mayor.
Oh, Lord.
Did the mayor die, or is she just grievously injured?
I'm pretty sure she's
We
dead.
never saw her again, and we've only heard when the mayor was. Actually, we've only heard when the mayor was. Did they say attacked or killed?
I don't remember.
She was arrowed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm relatively sure she's dead, but within the context of the show where we never see her again and she's only been mentioned once, they specifically said that when the mayor was something, and I don't remember if the word was attacked or killed. Either way, I think she's dead.
Right, yeah. I feel like I remember him saying that she was dead.
I'm reasonably sure.
I believe so. But, guys, why don't you help us out? Tweet at us. Leave comments below.
Then again, we
Yes.
saw two people get shot in the chest with an arrow, right? The first one, the mayor, presumably dead. The second one, Ray, fine. So,
Fine is a relative term.
Fine.
All right, giant
And
blood
again,
clot.
he was knocking Felicity out of the way, so it wasn't perfect aim.
and we
Right.
also had the little tiny robots to come save him.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
mayor
Felicity
next
had-
mayor needs tiny robots.
Yes.
Well, and
true.
Felicity, had she been hit, probably also would have been killed.
Most likely. So, dead mayor is what we're deciding on.
she
Okay.
is
Likely.
dead.
All right.
Or she's in a puddle.
Or she's in a puddle
Yes.
where they left her. Anyway,
You know, guys, the advantage to watching us live on YouTube is that we ask fun trivia questions and you can participate. Tonight we have 3 and I will disperse it throughout the episode, but right now let's get started with our first trivia question. Okay. I'm the only one that's really excited, but get out your phones, put away your Googles, because I know that's what you're going to do.
But it's one
That's all
I know. All right, so first trivia question. Hashtag ABTV Arrow. Which DC comic book artist designs the artwork for Knocking Point, which is Stephen and his buddy's winery company? Don't look at my answers. Okay, so
Google! What?
so jump on it. Jump on it.
All right.
Okay, and while you're jumping on it, let's
she knows
jump
that
on
song.
it.
It's a good song.
It is a
catchy.
good song.
Okay, yeah, we have Christina from.
Already?
We have
That's
confirmation from Christy. The mayor was dead on
Oh.
scene.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
I feel better now.
Now that she's smushed and out of the way, let's just talk about Ray. There's too many R's in this show. Let's talk about Ray Palmer, shall
That's
we?
okay. We're going to be missing both of them come next season.
That sucks. But okay,
I'm okay with that.
I'm not missing Ray. I won't miss Ray.
I will not
actually
miss Ray.
He grew on me a little bit this
Like a
episode.
fungus.
Hey, you calm down over there on that side of the table. Do I want him with Felicity? Absolutely not. But did he grow on me because he was just so zealous and excited? Yes.
That's actually what annoyed the hell out of me.
Well,
I
we are
don't
two
care
different
about
people.
the ship, but he is super annoying.
He's okay. Even like Oliver said, are you two related? Because he's the quirky side of Felicity, but at the same time, he was just so excited to be a part of the team. You know?
That's the thing. He was fine on The Flash. He fit in there perfectly. The attitude, the tech level, the everything. That was where he jived.
Right.
Here, it's just like, get out. Just get out. Just go.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Shut up, Ray.
The reason
Adam.
That's
Just
what
go
he
with
is.
Adam.
The reason
Palmer.
he's
That guy.
he has not been tainted the way Oliver has been.
Yeah.
So he's just so gung ho. Let's save the world. That yes, something happened to me in my past, which is what drives me to do what I do now. However, I have not seen the things that you have seen, so I'm ready to kick butt and rely on my suit.
Yeah, piggybacking
Tainted.
off of that, I find his happiness or his peppiness refreshing because everyone in the show is brooding.
Thank you. High five from a distance, please.
Bam.
On top
Okay.
of which, to me, it gives Stephen Amell some of his best moments that I've seen from him on this entire show when he gets to react. And nonverbal moments where it's like you say, Katie, the shut up Ray moments that he communicates only with his eyes. Just looks at him, just
get out.
that. I love those moments, and you don't get an opportunity for Stephen Amell to have moments like that with anybody else in that room because everybody is so sad all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, too, it's probably worse because he, meaning Oliver, has made the decision that he and Felicity are a no-go. It doesn't change the fact that he has emotions and feelings for her, though he wants the best for her. But here's this guy who clearly is really, really naive about a lot of stuff. And then there's Felicity. This episode, we got to see her still be a little like, oh, you're just so smart. Oh, yeah. And then they're talking in their foreign language of techiness, and there's Oliver like, oh, God, oh, my God, can you guys make out in a corner or something? Get out of my face. That's the vibe I got from him.
Yeah.
No? Yes?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's so naive not to realize that he is kind of third wheel in it. I mean, not to jump ahead too much, but you see that look at the end when she's like, buh, buh.
Well, how's that again?
Is that this week's catchphrase?
Yeah.
No.
Hashtag.
Hashtag blah, blah, blah.
How do you spell that?
Vigilante. Hashtag the raw alcohol of justice.
I'm proud to say I'm a contributor of 2 of those hashtags. Thank you very much.
Which is great because you were furious at us when you first brought them up and we wouldn't let it go.
So someone was talking in baby gibberish. And
Oh, yes. When she was having her moment with Oliver and Ray having earlier in the episode been like, hey, so, I told you I love you and you didn't say it back.
Thank you for bringing that up, by the way.
He's not dumb, and he realizes that like she doesn't feel for him as much as he feels for her. And I kind of feel bad for him, but like
It's a lowercase L. And Twitter agrees with me.
about which?
Lisa Bell of the Ball says, let's not talk about Ray.
Yeah, but
Which
you know
I'm
what?
very happy.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa. I like you. And Christy agrees that Ray is good on The Flash. I loved Ray on The Flash. Love the Cisco and Ray bromance.
Yes, agreed.
That I can get behind.
Agreed. I am entirely comfortable being the only champion of Ray Palmer on this panel. I will carry that banner for the rest of us.
Well, Gillian Davila agrees with you. I loved Oliver's reactions to Ray, though. Perfection.
Really great little quiet moments.
And Andy Epsilantis and Gillian Davila both say the answer is Jim Lee.
Yes, thank you for
Yay.
answering. I was looking at my phone. Is anybody going to answer this trivia question? So thank you very much for answering that. Moving on. I will just say, well, I don't want to move on. The last thing I will say is,
Moving on.
just kidding. Just kidding. Well, okay, because, Ray goes in and he fights this metahuman
Deathbolt.
Bolt. There you
The
go.
great Doug Jones.
Yes.
Yes.
And, obviously he jumps in there like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Pow, pow. And then he didn't even last, 60 seconds?
No.
He was just done, right? And what a hard moment for Oliver, even as Diggle had said, for Oliver just to have to sit back and let this guy attempt to take his place and save the city.
And then fail pretty badly.
yeah.
Yes, and I thought the second time around when they did that whole Wii action fight, I thought, I mean, that's what it was, right?
It was a little Wii boxing for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Real Steel.
Okay.
I can see that.
I just thought video game. Well, I mean, they even made references to video game fighting, but cool of Oliver to swallow his pride and just say, okay, fine, this is the only way, cool, at least let me help you. And I was going to say, I love the speech that Oliver had given Ray about trusting your instinct, not your tech. I am the weapon, not my arrows.
But he's also had a ton of experience,
Right.
and Ray's just
Absolutely.
been like, builds things.
Yeah.
Here's my issue with. I don't mean to be a naysayer,
Do
say
it.
your
You're
nays,
sitting
bro.
next to one, so you know.
Say
might
all of
as
your
well.
nays.
but so my issue with this is that Oliver, he had that moment with Ray, and he's like, yeah, you're not ready to do anything. But he wasn't, like, banning him from the field the same way that he was with Black Canary.
He doesn't have that perceived authority over Ray. He did have perceived authority, and by perceived, he thinks he has it over Laurel.
But at the same time, he has a relationship with Laurel. Not dating, but he's got a long history with Laurel. They've been friends, they've been lovers, they've been friends, they've been whatever else.
Right.
And so he probably has a lot more of a concern over her safety and her well-being, which is where some of that "no, you are not" comes from. You stubborn girl. Ray, no, you shouldn't do it. I
calling it
mean,
like he sees
if
it.
you get injured, I might feel guilty because I'm the good guy, but if you fall off the planet, I won't be that mad at you either.
Right.
He's calling it like he sees it in terms of Ray. Like, nope, you are super not ready, and you are going to get your shiny metal butt murdered.
And he's right.
Look at all the cares I give.
But as a hero, he should care, though.
Right.
And I
He
guess,
cared, but not as much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that my issue was just that he should have cared more.
They just didn't care.
Dude is diddling his girl, right? But,
But
you know,
even so, like,
You can't call her his girl. She ain't.
Well, whatever.
He likes her. She ain't his girl. She made her choice.
He loves
She made her choice.
They wouldn't be a good couple anyway.
Hey,
I will cut you while you were sitting next to me live on television. So
I think from here on out, the guys need to switch places because there seems to be more agreement on the other way, and I won't murder you for sinking my ship.
Look, that's great TV.
It is.
you know, okay, but Felicity had said she made mention. Okay. I won't give any spoilers yet, but I will say this. When she told Oliver, you need to let people help you, you need to let us help you, blah, 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 you sacrifice everything for everybody else, you put yourself last, no, you even put us last. You know, she had made, I didn't word that properly at all, but she'd made reference to the us and how
You sacrificed you and me.
There you go,
Right.
thank you. I was like, ooh.
You know, again, she is not wrong.
Oh,
But
no,
she's
not
the
at
one
all.
that picked up the pieces and for some value of it moved on. And Oliver's still the one that's just, standing in the rain playing Rolling in the Deep.
Yeah. So with all that, and there was obviously a lot of planning going on that we find out at the end of the episode, but when Roy first went into jail, did anybody else think he's too pretty to be in jail?
No, I just kind of went, he is super dead.
No, I just kept thinking somebody is going to rape him. He is just way too pretty.
Wow, okay.
I'm sorry, that's where my mind was at.
I would ship that.
Not that kind of show.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
I mean,
He's a pretty young thing.
that never crossed
Never
my
mind,
mind.
Lex. You can stay over there.
I will say it never occurred to me, but that would be compelling for sure. I would be glued to the television.
It's not that kind of show.
Well, no.
That's like Oz.
But, okay.
Just like Oz.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, not that they would show that. I'm just saying when he first did.
Okay.
No.
Wow, it's not like it's an 8 p.m. primetime show or
No.
anything.
Okay,
imply
look.
it.
Yes, thank you. What I'm saying is
In the
not that it
legal
would
justice system,
happen.
there is a special unit.
No, not that it would happen. I'm just saying, Roy does the first walk of shame down the hall, right? And then you see all the guys out of the corner of their eye looking at him. And I thought the guys were eyeballing him because they're like, ooh, young meat, young meat.
Not
Well,
watching
really?
this on YouTube need to be watching this on YouTube because Alikona is miming this entire thing.
I'm just saying, typical prison person thought, okay?
Let's say, for argument's sake, that was on
CW show.
Let's say that was on anyone's mind after he beat everyone down with his
was
hands cuffed
awesome.
behind his back. I don't think anyone's going, you know who I'm going to cuddle up with later? Is that out there?
I'm just saying, I thought that's why they started to attack him at the same time, too. Like, we can break him down.
Watch
out he is.
I really want to watch the show that you think this show is.
I really don't.
Okay, so anyways.
Jesus, trigger warnings, anybody?
Happy birthday at Vern's Views. Just want to give you a shout out, by the way. Happy birthday.
Yeah, let's follow that up with
A trivia question. Let's follow that up with a trivia question, if I can find my trivia. Hold, please.
Oh my
When I think
God.
of prison assault, I think of...
Okay.
No, I think of dispensing stabbity death, which is what happened.
Speaking of prison assaults and battery and all things violent,
see where this transition's going.
here's my next trivia question.
Oh, boy.
Which Arrow cast member's greatest influences was Hulk Hogan?
Interesting.
Yeah. Google that. Huh. Anyway. I mean, I did find it online, so. Anyhow, going back into the episode, Ray fighting.
So yeah,
I have to say real fast, Brandon Christopher. So apparently Ollie and Ray are drift compatible. I like you.
That was good.
I like you a lot.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm still not
It's
there.
a Pacific Rim reference.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It
Sorry.
took me a second as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
I'm glad that they addressed the fact that, having this hero in prison is not a good idea, because most of the people in there, or at least a certain percentage of the people in there, are there because of him.
But are they? Because I thought about that, and I thought, why do these people want him dead so badly? And none of the faces were people that were familiar, unless we were just supposed to assume that people were getting put behind bars that we just didn't
Well,
see.
yeah.
He cleans up the streets like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he was killing people for an entire season. He
True.
probably dropped a lot of people who
They were
may
homies.
or may not have deserved it.
Yeah.
But he just slaughtered them because that's how he started. So you have all these people who are, I'm sorry, I'm in prison and my brother got murdered while he was attempting petty theft. Someone's going to die.
And even if you don't have a specific beef with the Arrow, if you're locked up in there and you have an opportunity to take out the guy that's been disrupting business for criminals for years, you want to be the guy who can get out of jail and say, I took care of the Arrow for the rest of you. You all now work for me.
Unless you're that guy. Did you see the 93 Batman episode, the guy who killed the Batman?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I will say this, Katie, you brought a great point up while we were watching the show, as far as if this kid really is the Arrow, and a lot of prisoners are probably going to be mad at him, why is he not in a secluded space?
Yeah, why isn't he in solitary? Why isn't he under protection? Why isn't he in a different prison somewhere else? You don't take a high-risk prisoner and throw him in the middle of people who straight up want to kill him. That is negligence.
Well,
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen, along with, a murder waiting to happen.
Well, he wasn't in prison yet, though. He was still in jail waiting to be processed.
Still, he doesn't need to be
you
around.
take them to a different facility.
Yeah.
If you have a high-risk prisoner, you don't stick them where they're going to be killed.
A story like this, I would normally say somebody was paid off to keep him out in the open, but we haven't seen any real police corruption stories from this show yet, so I don't necessarily think that's where they were going.
However, one of Lila's people was able to get in as a prison guard somehow.
Well, okay, so then maybe...
And they also got warrants with absolutely no basis.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think anyone really knows how legal anything works. But then, okay, keeping him out in the open like that was a necessity to get their plan to work.
Right.
I will say this. When the actual stabbing happened and, Detective Lance came and told Thea that Roy was dead, I thought, really? That's it? That's how it's going to go down? That's how Roy's going to die? It's not even going to be an epic battle. It's just he got shanked?
That
I was so mad. And obviously that's not the entire ending of the show, but
Right.
in that moment,
Well, I
felt...
assumed he wasn't actually... The way they paced the episode, like you say, it didn't lend itself to that.
Okay, and Vern at Vern's
that-
View
you stare
says
at me.
Roy
Yeah.
should have been in protective custody in jail, not in Iron Heights.
Yeah, putting Roy in that... Okay, bad decision. Oh, I will say that our
Yeah.
trivia question got answered correctly by @OlicityLover21. Stephen Amell is the answer to the question. He was inspired by Hulk Hogan. In fact, he
Yay.
wanted to eventually one day host Monday Night Raw.
Nice.
That's on his bucket list.
Is that at all surprising?
No.
No.
I suppose not. Okay. Anyways, going back to the plan. Before we found out it was a plan, was anybody else super ticked off the moment they announced that Roy was dead? Because I was. And not because he was dead. I was ticked off because of the whole speech that happened between Oliver and Diggle. And, Oliver's like, we have to save him. We have to save him. Obviously, they're trying to make this plan work. But even watching that and not knowing the end result, I kept thinking, what is wrong with you, Diggle? And then the same thing with Felicity. So when Roy actually was quote-unquote dead, all I kept thinking is, it's your fault! It's your fault! I was so mad.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, because at that time, Lance was looking for anything to convict Oliver. So him barging into prison, being like, I'm gonna get this guy out, is exactly what Lance would have needed.
That's true.
Okay, I'll agree with that. But the fact that they were still standing still with Roy. Let's go after the guy with the fire eyes. Roy will be fine. That's the part that I disagree with. Again, it's part of a plan. But there's plenty of you on the team. How about half of you team up, you go handle Fire Eyes, and half of you work on Roy? But the fact that Diggle was like, no, let's just put that to the back burner for now. Let's just put it to the back burner.
There's no half and half at all. There's Roy's in prison. Ollie can't go out, and Felicity is a non-combatant. And whenever she goes out, she gets in trouble. This is a continuing pattern.
Yeah.
Where's the Black
Diggle
Canary?
is the only one doing lawyer stuff to try to get Oliver out of jail.
Well, she can lawyer and then put on the suit.
Supremely inexperienced, as well as Ray, the only person who has combat experience in any capacity at this point, or in a big enough capacity to potentially take on a metahuman, is Diggle. And there's no way he could do that alone. Mm-mm. So it's not that we have a team, let's divide them up. It's incapacitated, tech support, can't go out. Inexperienced. That is not the makings of a good team right now.
Why can't we have Diggle on one team, Black Canary on another team, and then...
Because that's not divide and conquer, that's divide and die.
Yeah, that's not... Yeah.
Though maybe
that's not feasible.
Felicity could have hacked into the police system and been like, clerical error, free Roy.
Yeah, okay, that's totally not...
Free Roy.
Yeah, that's no red flags or anything.
Yeah, that's not how jail works.
Hey,
are you sure the movies have told us a very specific thing? Starling City doesn't know how anything works. We built an earthquake machine. Sure.
Good.
Yeah.
So the whole reason for all of this comes back to us at the very end of the show, which is Roz. The whole start of all this is Roz, right? And so, of course, he's in Thea's apartment. I'm like, oh, hell, here we go. Okay.
When you knew, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but I knew exactly, even before Roy was quote-unquote killed, my assumption was that it wasn't going to be him for many, many, many reasons. One, the producers wouldn't keep saying, yeah, okay, he's totally, yeah, we're getting rid of him.
I mean, they didn't say it like that.
I know, but they wouldn't.
They just kept saying goodbyes are sad, but you know what? It still was a goodbye.
Yeah, yes, but I'm just saying they wouldn't have...
That's a back pocket right there. You still have that character. He still exists. He's still somewhere.
And he's going to another show
at some point.
He is.
That's true.
He is. That's
Has
the point.
that been confirmed?
Yes, he is going to go to another show. However, we no longer see him with Team Arrow, which is still a sad goodbye. We no longer have the opportunity for him and Thea to really develop anything because that's... Unless she goes to another show.
Has he been confirmed on the spinoff, or has the actor been cast in a different show entirely?
I am almost, don't quote me on it, but I almost could swear I read that he will be the Arsenal in another show.
I had not seen that anywhere. I will have to keep an eye out for that.
Please do. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. I was reading tonight before I got here, and I could. That's what I had read.
Anyway, point being, she was on. To be fair.
That's very true. You know, it's one of those glasses that can fit an entire bottle.
I mean, maybe she figured that she couldn't get away. I mean, there are those times when you face an opponent where you're like, well, I could run, or I can't run. She went for the door, and she was immediately blocked.
True.
So at that point, it's like, well, I guess I gotta fight or flight, and flight's not an option.
No.
We do have the argument that Malcolm should have helped from Lisa's
where was he? He was too busy. He was too busy later on giving Stephen that talk somewhere in the alley. Stephen. Oliver, you know, because Steven are homies.
Oh, yeah,
Steven, is that you?
Yeah, he was too busy giving Oliver the speech about you must take Roz will not stop someone you love will get killed. Wink, wink.
Foreshadowing. You must take your place in the great circle of death.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's more to talk about in predictions as far as where that territory goes, but yeah.
I'm kind of frustrated with the idea of bringing the Lazarus pits into it at all, especially like this. Because we've just brought in the Dragon Balls, and death is now cheap.
The Dragon Balls?
DB, Dragon Ball Z, they bring people back to life all the time.
She's equating the Lazarus pit with the Dragon Balls.
I was just wondering, is there something else that I missed?
Yeah,
Are they bringing back other dead people on the show?
They use them as a revolving door for death. And now that we have the Lazarus pits, death is cheap.
I was just saying, it doesn't seem as serious anymore.
She is dead, oh dear God. Oh, according to next episode, now she's not anymore.
And she will return as Speedy.
And I agree that it does take the weight away, and it takes the stakes out of the idea of death. But I mean, I want to talk more on that point, but probably best to save it for predictions.
Yeah.
Okay, predictions. Well, let's hurry up and get to predictions by going through news and gossip first.
What about the flashbacks?
Oh,
The
well,
flashbacks are kind of super important.
I mean, we can hit them up real quick, but we don't have much more time, so I will just say, give me what you got with the flashback.
That was a plot twist I wasn't expecting. Amanda Waller actually being kidnapped by the army wanting to take out Hong Kong because evidently every white male who's in charge of a battalion is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the DC universe.
To be fair,
Yeah, to be fair, no, absolutely super right. If you're not doing genetic modifications on a gorilla, you are attempting to wipe out Hong Kong via a disease, which you evidently have a vaccine for, which that is not in any capacity suspicious. So we steal the disease. We steal the vaccine. We decide that despite the fact that you guys can get out with your kids, you're going to stay anyway because that is super intelligent. One of you should at least go with the kid, but whatever. He's doomed. Let's deal with that. And we are going to figure out what their plan is and stop them before they set it off or something. And it's all going to go horribly, horribly wrong because these are Oliver's flashbacks and nothing good ever happens. Give me a mic so I can drop it.
Oh, wow.
Well, especially when we've already committed to the fact that this kid does not survive. They have put themselves in a position where ultimately they have to write a scenario in which the kid is allowed to be killed.
Yeah.
They just want to surprise us with that. That's so mean. Okay.
I will be gobsmacked if that kid lives. I will buy cake and bring it in if that kid lives.
Okay. We will hold you to that. So anyway, going into our news and gossip. Sorry to just run you into that, but let's do that. Okay, so I did read something while our engineer pulls up pictures and all that awesomeness stuff that I have. I read that Felicity, you know, she's gotten a lot closer to Ray Palmer, but in these last few episodes, we're going to finally see the movement going more towards Oliver. And apparently there's a promo out. I have not seen it yet, but look for it, where it shows her and Oliver making love. And I said, oh, it's finally happening.
It's that demon ring. That's what does it for people, really.
To me right in okay. So anyways, that was my big, huge, gigantic news. Do we have my picture yet?
We do have something from Twitter, and I scrolled past it, and I need to go
You look
back.
for that. And while we do, if you are listening to us on iTunes, please make sure to like and comment, but also watch us on YouTube because you get to see my fancy schmancy pictures.
Here,
or
from Andy Epsilanus. It has not been confirmed he'll be in a spin-off. They've only confirmed he'll appear in the season finale.
Okay.
So Roy
okay.
is in the back pocket right now.
Oh, good. Well, I hope he comes back. Either way, the title has been revealed for the season finale. My name is Oliver Queen. Just like that.
Boy, where have I heard that before?
Yeah. So basically, what people have been talking about is the fact that this may be him. Because, you know, they talked about Oliver Queen now being innocent because they think Roy is dead and Roy is the Arrow. That could imply a lot of things. Is Oliver Queen now going to be the Oliver Queen Agul? Or, you know...
Agul and Justice.
Shut up. I'm glad everybody finds me humorous. Anyhow. What else was going to say? Oh, there was an interview with Katie Cassidy. She was talking about her training for the Black Canary, and she was saying that she was training at 1.3 hours a day, 5 days a week, yoga, kickboxing, cardio. I don't remember what else it was, but she says that basically Laurel's finally going to stop being that whiny person, which we've seen a little bit, but she says a lot of it, both physically and emotionally, is going to be because of Nyssa. So hopefully we get to see the two ladies train a little bit more.
Nice.
But I thought it was cool that she's... Huh?
I ship it.
You ship it. I mean, that could happen
ship
too.
it.
So down.
I'm sure all the men are down, please. Two beautiful women, come on now.
What a fascinating relationship that would be.
It would. It could be, yes. It very well could be. Yeah, so that was my... Okay, two things. I have two videos for you guys. One is, of course, a lot of you fans have already seen it on the CW website, but the Superhero Fight Club. So that was so staccato. I'm sorry.
I don't think we have time to watch the whole thing.
No. We're just going to show a little clip of it if we can, please. If you have not, again, go onto YouTube. You can watch it. I do believe... Oh, there we go.
Evidently, according to Stephen Amell's Twitter, this was filmed in 2 days in LA.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a lot of filming to do.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, though. We get to see all the villains and all the heroes fight against each other.
How has no one noticed that little skull button in the elevator?
I just have to say, I think you two really...
Because they have people like that working there.
It's something we do to blow off Steve.
And she got fired, apparently.
Yeah, I guess.
For real?
Cleaning out her... Well, she looked like she was cleaning out her desk.
Oh, that is true. So yeah, if you're a Fight Club fan.
Literal cage matches. Because why not?
It's pretty great. All right.
I want to at least see some fight action before we move on.
Dark Archer versus Canary and
Versus Arsenal. Yeah, no question.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting too because when I saw this promo, I thought, is it going to be the Katie Cassidy version of Canary or is it going to be the Sarah Lance version?
From the
Also,
looks of it,
notice
it's the stunt person version.
it's the
I mean,
stunt people
that
on all
is
of them.
quite
No one's
possible.
faces are visible.
Anyhow, if you want to watch the rest of this, you can go online and you can look it up. I believe either the CW website or I found it on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
My next one is actually, it's an older one, but it's a Colton Haynes paying homage to Sir Colton, since we may not see him very much more this season. He did a Dr. He did one of those, a Dr. Pepper commercial. It's a really cute commercial. I liked it a lot. So here it is.
This city's got nothing for me. You can't be a model out here.
never leave.
Missouri will always be my home. I'm actually from Kansas. The modeling part's true. And I moved to New York when I was 15. My first shoot was for Teen Vogue, and then I did Abercrombie after that. It's always weird having a camera in
Yes,
front of
he
your face.
did.
It really helped me with getting into acting because it helped me get comfortable in front of a camera.
I don't know about you guys, but it's making me want a Dr. Pepper.
You thirsty?
I don't know what you're talking about.
She hates buttons.
That's a six-pack.
First audition was for
goodness sakes.
Miami. I tend to play really horrible people. People
This is
who are
obviously
mean.
before Arrow.
I'd like to do comedy. I don't know. I think I'm funny, but most people don't think I'm funny. So
Do we have time for the whole thing?
No, we can go ahead and cut it off. I would love to see him in a comedy, though. I really do like him. He's definitely grown on me, ladies and gentlemen.
Like a fungus.
Anyhow, that covers my news. Anybody have any other news?
No, not particularly.
All right. Well, then let's jump into our predictions.
All right.
Ooh, crazy music. Boo, 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 boo,
Oh,
boo,
do we get the light show?
There we go.
And the light
Your
show.
AFTERBUZZ TV.
We're all sucked up by your chest.
Do you think they just have like a button that says predictions and they bam?
I mean, if so, that would be really cool.
A little red button with a skull on it.
All right, who wants to give their prediction first? I'll throw it up.
Death is cheap.
That's not a prediction.
It is a prediction.
That's a statement.
The way this series is going.
well-
Death is now cheap, and that is upsetting.
It's also
Sort of.
very comic booky.
But it is, and that's a problem because for a comic book show, they've actually done really well in grounding it in making you feel things and not really doing, for lack of a better word, take backsies.
True.
Going back to the Dragon Ball analogy,
Yeah.
the series is founded on the fact that there's a revolving door for death, and it's not a big deal, and you deal with it. Here, they've made everything count. So to kill a character at the end of an episode and be like, oh my God, and then 15 seconds later, here's the preview telling you that she's gonna be back.
Well,
it's like, yep, death is cheap.
Here's the thing, though. Especially this season, the show has been really good about going, oh, your actions, they have consequences. And so the idea of death being cheap is the immediate thought, but at the same time, we know that the Lazarus Pit causes madness. And I want them, or I think that they're going to dive into that fact, and that, yes, you can bring someone back to life, but it has dire consequences, so it becomes not unworth it. Nope. One of those words.
We know what you mean.
It doesn't become worth it.
But at the same time, you have to take into consideration, maybe for us at the moment, or for you feel like death is cheap, but to Oliver, when he finds out that Thea's dead, he's not that educated. He does know about the Lazarus Pits, but it's still finding out that your sister was sorted to death, just like your mother, is still tragic. And it's upsetting.
Dear.
And yeah, I like sorted. Hashtag
Sorted.
I like sorted.
Sorting
What?
It is something that is enough to be compelling to make him step on over to the dark side, because maybe he won't have access to the Lazarus Pits unless he converts. Amen.
I understand that. I understand it from a story perspective. I understand it from what characters are doing. Yes, Oliver's going to do this, etc., etc. I get the cause and effect. It's the executive decisions that led to this that are like, guys, really? This is how we're doing it?
The way to give it weight, and I'm going to piggyback off of both what you were saying and Tauri, what you were saying, the Lazarus Pits do cause madness, and we got a tiny taste of that in the teaser.
But it's temporary, isn't it?
It depends on which version of what story you're reading. Often, yes. But if you really want to give this weight, you take Thea's body, you put it in the pit. You hope, yes, you're going to get back the same Thea that you lost, but there is no guarantee that what comes back out of that pit is going to be the same person you remember. And I'm hoping they play with that in ways that still give it a sense of weight and loss.
So you're hoping that Arrow does Pet Cemetery?
No,
Actually,
Yeah, I would like that.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that our show has come to an end. I'm going to abruptly end it. Forget the fact that I did not transition that very well at all. But anyhow, we are very grateful to have your company with us, and don't forget to subscribe. Do that. Thank you. Do the clicky thing for AfterBuzz TV, and also do not forget to support and check out my channel, Boys in Beauty with Alikona. Ting. Okay, the end.
Do we get to say anything?
Oh, say stuff!
Jeez,
Go! I know.
Let's do it.
Sorry.
Lex Michael Twitter handle at the Lex Michael. I bet nothing to ting, but the ting.
Yeah.
And you can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. It's TauriJay. Also on the Flash panel and the Grim panel. Hee hee.
You can find me, Katie Cullen, on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's KIAXET. I'm also on the Transformers Robots in Disguise after show on Sundays.
No ting? I feel... There we go. Thank you.
No ting.
So thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you buzzers next week. Goodbye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.